Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is December 8th, 2017. Itty bitty little show today. Not really a whole heck of a lot going on. Up front, still have no Revell November releases yet. Again, G Poncho and the 85 Oldsmobile. Still not around. Don't know where they're at exactly, but they'll be around sooner than later, I would assume, right? At some point. Really no new announcements or anything right now. We do have one new set of wheels that has been announced. And normally we don't, focus a lot on the wheels, but orange wheels, like the little sort of sub-brand run by Asuka. They do their little things a little differently, so they're doing this new set of wheels here that they're calling Forged, and these are adjustable 17 and 18-inch 5-lug wheels. Now, why that's a little significant, or why I even care, or why I'm bringing it to your attention, would be the fact that in the past their wheels have been 14, 15-inch wheels. Basically, if you look at the what's going on with the sprue there, you get a sort of a barrel with the actual spokes or whatever the case may be, because some of them were steel wheels and things like that. But you have the wheel center built into sort of the spoke, the barrel that goes to the back of the wheel. And then you have two sets of lips that are, making the wheel either a 14-inch or a 15-inch wheel, depending on which one of the lips you use to make the wheel. This goes into this new 17 and 18-inch wheel. I thought I was going to sneeze. And they're same thing. We take, depending on which one of the two lips you use, the 17 or 18-inch wheel. I don't necessarily believe that they will fit the tires that they have done. The tires, I think, let's see, I have set right here. Yeah, they're pretty tiny in terms of what they're going to accept, and they're really designed for those smaller 14-inch wheels. They're saying they'll hold from a 15 to a 17-inch wheel. Obviously, put a 17-inch wheel on that, you're really going to be stretching the stretch wall out quite a bit. So it may kind of sort of fit the 17-inch wheel, but it won't fit the 18-inch wheel, but that's okay. Or the tire, I mean, but that's all right. There's plenty of tires available in kits that will be, taking an 18-inch wheel. Also, it's a 5-lug wheel. That's different because in the past, the wheels that they have done have all been 4-lug wheels for, imports. So this gives you, a couple more options in terms of using them on American cars, although the wheel mounting won't necessarily plug and play with a Revell or a Round 2 kit because, it's based on the polycap design that, of course, is popular in Japan. So that's pretty much it on the new stuff. Those wheels are currently up for pre-order on Hobby Search, not on HobbyLink Japan as of this morning. However, chances are they will be up, within a day or two, or they may wait till the last minute like they did with the last set of wheels, where they went up for pre-order the same day they came in. But at any rate, the designed release date now is like mid-January, so you have a little bit of time. But if you want to pre-order them early, those tend to go out, sell out pretty quickly. I know the tires sold out entirely out of everybody's inventory, and they've been waiting for months now to have them come back in. So hopefully those will come back in, as I still need a couple more sets of tires for my 14, 15 wheels that I still have. Like I said, that's really it on kit announcements or kit news or anything like that. We did get the flyer for the first quarter of Revell. I've already told you guys about that. I don't know if I need to show you the flyer or not. I didn't bother to download it, so I don't have it to show you, but you guys, what the stuff is there. It is the retool of the 69 Mustang to the Boss 302 that supposedly has the front end fixed on it. The reissue of the C6 GTO, reissue of the 94 Impala SS. I'm sorry, that's all the time we have for today. No. That dryer is a really long dryer buzzer. It's an old dryer. That came with this house. I'm not sure when my grandparents bought that dryer, but the buzzer is variable. Sometimes it goes off for just a minute, and sometimes it goes off like that, where it's quite a few seconds. But at any rate, reissue of the Rommel rod, reissue of a couple other things that I can't think of off the top of my head. I'm going to have to look. Along with that, modified reissue of the 48 Ford convertible to make it into the white car from Grease Lightning, Nerf bar, and stuff like that. Let me see, what was it? The reissue of the Frank Icona Pro Stock Camaro, and then also the U.S. boxing of the Porsche Junior tractor. Remember, if you want to buy one now, it's going to be in distribution through Revell of Germany boxes this month in December. A couple of things we've noticed have sort of disappeared, at least from the release schedule. Is like the 69 Daytona did not come out in the fourth quarter. The 29 Ford did not come out in the first quarter. So those are those have been pushed out a little bit. So we'll have to see when they come out. The last time I saw the 29 Ford, it was slated for March now, and I haven't looked to see when the Daytona is coming out because I don't know. It's just that's a long that kit's been reissued enough that it's not even hard to find at this point. But it's been 8 or 9 years since it was reissued, so it's time. It's due in its life cycle at Revell. The 29 Ford, by the way, because I saw this topic has popped back up again. Somebody had recently asked why it was so hard to find. I don't know, Ford I belong to. Obviously, this is the infamous tooling damage fiasco that happened over in China, where the 29 and the 30 Ford got pulled out of production while they fixed the tool. The 29 Ford, when it is reissued, is going to come out with the wheels and the engine. Now, this stuff was all designed to be modular in the first place, so it's not like it's gone forever. It'll actually be in the other kit. But the 29 Ford is going to come out with the small block Chevy and the wheels from the 1930 Ford Coupe. And then the 1930 Ford Coupe, when it is finally reissued, will come out with the nail head and the wheels from the 29 Roadster. So just be aware, it is not an exact straight reissue. They're trying to sort of pull at your heartstrings a little bit with this and release it as a slightly different variation. There'll be no new parts added. They're just going to, like I said, swap out the modular parts to sort of, make it appeal. I mean, if they just reissued the 29 Ford Roadster straight, it's dubious about how many people would buy another one. Just because I think pretty much everybody has one. That 29 Ford has always been an easy kit to find. The 30 Ford was outselling it something like 7-1 when the production fiasco happened. Also, I heard a whole new story as to why that happened on this forum. Somebody who likes to fancy themselves an insider, but has just been basically an unpaid consultant that has schnookered a few people into letting them know what's going on in advance. And really is just, at this point in their life, a little too senile to be really participating in things. And I don't mean that as a really totally mean thing, but it's just the truth of the matter. Said that the reason the 29 and 30 Ford have been delayed so long is because the factory that made the kits went into bankruptcy, and that everything was basically frozen up by China while they sorted out who owned what. And the tooling has finally been released to Revell, and they can make the kit again. Now, I find this a laughable, at best, excuse for this. Remember, the Chinese seized this at one point. Remember, the Chinese government came in with the army and took it over at one point, one of the rumors. But if this company really went into bankruptcy, which is not unheard of, I mean, things go insolvent all the time, why is it that only this one single tool was affected? Like, nothing else Revell was doing. None of the production for any other model kit that is being done in China, because a lot of the stuff recently, like the Ram Charger, probably the reissue of the High Roller 78 GMC truck, and things like that, those are all tools that never were sent to China in the first place, because they were just, nobody expected them to be reissued. And, Revell sort of took a flyer on doing some of those old 70s, 80s SUVs and pickup trucks. They sold well, and they were like, oh, well, hey, put out the Ram Charger. Hey, the Ram Charger sold real well. Let's put out the high roller version of the 78 GMC and see how well that sells. And it probably will sell well, because a lot of people have been asking for those high roller kits to be reissued for a while anyway. But nothing else that Revell did for the entire remainder of 2017 has run into any snags or delays until this just recently, which is probably more due to shipping things during the Christmas season than it is anything else. Because more than likely, the stuff got here in plenty of time, and then it had to, get into Illinois and be distributed out of Great Plains to the distributors. It's probably really, at this point, stuck in transit. Things that were coming to me as somebody who works for the Postal Service and understands how the flow of things are working, things that were coming to me were showing up 2-3 days later than they should have been here this past week. So, I'm not totally concerned about the November stuff not being here right now. I would like I said, I think it's probably more just stuck in transit than there's any validity to this story. Even if the factory went bankrupt back in February of this year, it wouldn't affect November's kit releases. But I just think it's really, really entertaining to try to posit that as the excuse to why this is all happening, when if that was the true reason, why did it not affect a single other thing that Revell did all year long? Because they've done, obviously, they produced things out of China this year, and I love it when somebody hears a rumor and then they try to, because of their status within the hobby, they try to perpetrate it as the truth, because it's so clearly not at all what happened. So, at any rate, that's coming. That, like I said, the 29 Ford will come back out when the 29 Ford comes back out. I'm not too terribly concerned about it, but I know a lot of people were like, oh, the kit will come back out. Well, yeah, it will, but it's not going to be the exact same kit. It's going to have different things. We have a few things in the release coffer here. I guess we'll throw this up real quick. The one Studio 27 decal we know about for December so far, I think I mentioned this in passing, but I have a graphic for it now, is the carbon fiber set for the AMG GT3 Tamiya kit, the race car kit that just came out. This is probably one of the most expensive carbon fiber sets I've seen Studio 27 do. The retail on it is close to $40 US. Now, it's being sold for about $31 US at Hobbylink Japan. I have 3 sets of it on order. I know I got 13 of the kits, but I wasn't going to order 13 sets of carbon fiber all at once. To just be more decals into a pile of ever-growing decals. So I grabbed 3, well, I ordered, they're not in yet. I grabbed 3 sets of these, and I'd like to get them over here ASAP as soon as they come out, because I really want to start working on the that SAP liveried Nuremberg winning car. I could probably start working on it and just start doing some stuff, but with that much carbon fiber on there, and some of it being not easily identifiable to my eyes, I mean, I see that there's chassis pieces and there's interior pieces. I'm just going to hang out and wait till that stuff comes in and then comes over before I start working on that. I've been working on an older, the previous generation SLS kit right now. So, on the domestic side of things, we've gotten the last of the November round 2 and some of the December round 2 kits in. And the last of the November round 2 kits was a reissue of the 2008 Dodge Challenger SRT8. You notice there it says showroom replicas. So this is a straight reissue of the showroom replicas kits that they did back in 2008, 2009. You might say, why bother? To you, I say, 8-year reissues, 8 to 9 year reissue cycle. So it's time for these to come back out. Don't be real surprised if they don't reissue some of the Corvettes this year too. Some of the older Corvette, like the 2009, 2010 Corvettes. Just the tooling, has to get paid for some way, and this is the way you do it. On the reissue side of things from round 2, 3 AMT kits that have come out. I apologize for the crappiness of this picture, but it was the only one I could find of the box top that was legitimately the real box top that was taken by the hobby shop across town here. And this is the Buick Electra 225. You see, granted, the flash is a silent box top. It doesn't have any wording on it. It is, one of the things that round 2 has been doing in the past. Well, since really they got hold of the tooling in like 2012, and it's doing these silent box covers where it doesn't say what it is on the box. It's clearly showing, a stylized 1960s custom, not even, some people call this a lowrider, but it's period lowered rather than it being, current lowered. If that makes any sense. You can still build stock. If you turn on the end cap, it says Buick Electra 225. That's where the silent box top, but it's not a silent box side or bottom. So that's back out. Nothing new about it. I think there might be pad printed tires in there. Let me check. See if I wrote down anything special about this, because I don't think there was. Nope, there's nothing special about that. You're also getting a reissue of the 1957 Chevy Pepper Shaker Dragster. This is going back to the original 1957 tooling, of the original 1957 Chevy tooling. The tooling wasn't done in 1957; it was done in the 1960s. But it is that older 57 Chevy tooling. It's not the newer 1990s era AMT Ertl 57 Chevy. So it is a 3-in-1 stock sort of custom. Not all the custom parts are in it, but most of them are. They didn't retool anything for this, so the last time you saw it is what it has in it. Obviously has the new decals to replicate the Pepper Shaker Dragster. Also has pad printed drag slicks. Also has tinted glass option in there, which I don't believe is in the last reissue. And then the last reissue at around 2 for this month so far, there are still 2 more to come, is the Cobra Racing Team. This is the 3-part kit that has the AC Cobra, which was last seen in the King Cobra reissue that came out in 2012, the 53 Ford, which was last seen in a reissue that came out in like 2013, and also has the trailer in it to make it all one unit. It has new decals in it to sort of coordinate the Cobra and the truck together as a Hall team. But beyond that, and the retro box art, and the fact that these are 3 kits combined into one box, by the way, the MSRP on that's like $56. Now, it's probably going to sell for in the upper 40s, but know that going in. You're getting 3 model kits, you're going to pay for 3 model kits. But, you know, there's nothing new added to this kit other than, you know, just being all in one box. None of the kits have anything new about them, but they have all the parts in them. There's nothing been taken out either. So if you haven't picked up one of the 53 Ford reissues, which is, you know, a 3-in-1, or you haven't picked up the AC King Cobra the last time it was reissued, which is like at least a 2-in-1. It's like a full drag car. I think it might be technically be a 3-in-1 by decals, because I mean you can build it just a stock Cobra, you can build it as a drag car, the King Cobra drag car, and then you can build it as sort of a, you know, race version. More of a street race version. So there is that. The only other thing we have on reissue-wise here is stuff from Aoshima. We've got a couple of restocks, stuff that are just being put back into production to replenish distributors, and they are the Ings version of the 2007 Impreza WRX STI. This has been, you know, reissued a number of times in its original boxing, and then was put into the Tune Car series earlier this year, so this is just a restock. Also a restock of the Liberty Walk R35 Nissan GTR. This is something I know that a lot of people have been waiting for. This kit sold out. I know you're probably thinking, like, didn't this just get released a couple of months ago? Yeah, we're talking of this kit coming out basically in October, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, it came out in October, and it sold out. Poof. Gonskis. It literally sold out within maybe a week or two, it seemed, or so. I know that, you know, it basically, if you didn't get one from, like, Hobbylink Japan when they came out, or, like, a week or so following, you've been on a back order ever since. So they did another production run of this. Remember, this is the version 1. This is not the new version 2. I use new with a little bit of air quotes because you get new wheels and a new spoiler. Otherwise, the kit's pretty much the same. But it's not the version 2 kit that'll be coming out in February. It is the, like I said, just a restock of the original kit they did back in September, October. And then we got the four wheel sets for the month of December, and these are all little 14-inch wheels. They don't have the gumball tires in them necessarily. They're still kind of, you know, pudgy, fat tires, but they're not the tires that came out with some of the first sets of 14-inch wheels. And they are the Kaku Tekken Type 2 wheels, the Kaku Tekken Type 3 wheels, so a couple different versions of steel wheels for you. And then they are the Excel wheels and the Bright wheels. Don't know what the manufacturers are on those. They kind of look SSRE more, or maybe Volkish, but I don't know. I honestly don't know, and I really just couldn't be bothered to look it up for you guys. If you guys want tires or wheels and tire sets, there are some wheels and tire sets. They either look like what you want or they don't. Because I mean, Tekken is like a slang word for steel wheel, but it's not a literal Japanese translation of steel wheel. It's not. Some people insist that it is, but it's not. And yeah, that's it. So anyway, like I said, mercifully short. I want to thank everybody who sort of supported the live streams that we did. We did a 2-hour-ish. It was a little under 2 hours. A 2-hour live stream on Saturday. By the way, you can sort of figure out I'm not filming this on Friday. 2-hour live stream on Saturday that we did a Inside the Stash video out of. Basically, we looked at all the stuff that had come in from Hobbylink Japan, from Bai. We had some stuff from over at Spot Model. We got another paint shipment from Gravity. and things like that. So you want to go back and watch that. It's archived in the channel. And then we did a 4-hour live stream here just today where we sort of fiddled around and built some stuff. We really didn't build anything, especially we painted some stuff. We worked on a Fujimi SLS AMG GT3 that we're doing as the winning car from the 2015 FIA Macau GT race. It's a GT3 car. We also poked around the edges of the 2015 Acura Honda NSX from Tamiya, and then afterwards I took down a body out of another one of my Z4 kits because we still have the one that's kind of wrecked and it hasn't been, still after like a year in a strip pond, still isn't stripped of its paint because you can't get semi-gloss black off of things. It's going to have to go in an alcohol bath next. But I took a body down because I have a Z4 kit that I was working on. You may recall we started doing some build videos on it, and then all of a sudden it stopped because we wrecked the decals on the body in the process. And so I just pulled a new, fresh body out of another Z4 kit because eventually I'll go and I'll take the body and I'll strip it down and get it all situated. But took a fresh body out of one of the other kits to start working on that because really the kit itself is probably 60% of the way done. I could probably have it on wheels by tonight and you know, be on its way because it was, you know, I was working on the body to get the some of the decals on that I thought I could, you know, probably should put on before I start fiddling around with assembly-wise too much. And, you know, that, of course, like I said, was turned into a fiasco and a disaster at the same time. And we're going to I think we're just going to sort of take a deep breath and plunge back into that as well. I haven't decided on the livery yet. I have to go look through my liveries today. But we will be doing probably some more live videos later this week. We're going to try to start running them. I know nobody will be around to watch them, but they'll be archived so you can go back and watch them later. From like 9 to 11, which is my free time in the morning. I know everybody who's, you know, at work is at work. That's probably like, what, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon over in Europe. So, you know, for the European guys, you can watch live, but everybody else have to catch on repeats unless you have to be, you know, a night shift worker, and then you can sort of hang out and stay up and watch. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So I'm blathering on now and just killing time. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the other side.